Welcome back. Well, it looks like it's going to be a little bit on the wet side going into next week, but the good news is after a big dousing today, it looks like, at least in some parts of Acadiana, looks like rain chances a little bit lower tomorrow going into Monday, but they'll perk back up big time as we head into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Thus the graphic here. So let's take it over to the key wall. And again, can't rule out a few more storms tomorrow afternoon. Even though the models want to go 5 to 10%, we're going to go with about 20%. Much the same on Monday. Models want to go 20%. We'll push it to 30% for now. But you can see how there's an uptick going into Monday night, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We're going at least in the 60% range. And a couple of these days, those rain chances will probably go higher. And we're talking some pretty hefty rain totals, more than likely, per usual, as we get active storms in May. Across the U.S., it's kind of a random day. Storms out across the Rockies, close to home, and cold, chilly rains up farther to the north and east. And locally, we have that little bit of a frontal boundary that has been quite active. Will stay active once again tomorrow and going into Monday. You can see the strongest storms over Mississippi at this hour, where there's severe thunderstorm watches and warnings ongoing at this hour. Very intense cells from the Natchez area, between Natchez and Macomb. This one we have a severe thunderstorm warning on. And then close to home, let's back it up 6 hours. And today was probably a 20-30% type of day. When we forecast a 20% chance of rain, that means just 20% of the entire area will get wet by rain. Doesn't mean that if you get in the hot spot, you're not going to get a dumped on. And today probably turned out to be about a 30 to 40% type of day. The models have not been doing a good job. And with that heavy rainfall over Lafayette, we saw rain totals over 4 inches in portions of Lafayette into upper St. Martin Parish, 2 to 3 inches. And these are Doppler estimates. More than likely somebody had in their rain gauge close to 5 inches on the northeast side of Lafayette and into western portions of upper St. Martin Parish. So once again, dousing with slow-moving storms. Now moving into tomorrow, the severe weather threat moves off to the north, especially up toward Oklahoma and the Red River. And then going into Memorial Day, it looks like more threats of severe weather across eastern Texas. Marginal risk as far as south as, we'll say, central Louisiana, but most of the action stays north of us until about Tuesday. So moving into tomorrow, here's the graph model, not showing much activity. We'll go 20%. If it's turning on the normal spots where there's usually activity, you may see some of that squirt to the west. And also, I think we see a little bit of an urban heat island effect in Lafayette that helps feed the storms this time of year. And then as we move into Monday morning, it looks relatively quiet, Memorial Day, but then we'll be watching storms to our north and west. If timing works out, these storms should miss us and then reform back to the west. And then as we head into Tuesday, that's when we start to see better rain chances and heftier storms as well. Here's the Euro model showing us going into Tuesday. So a round or two on Tuesday, then Wednesday morning, and then we have Wednesday evening. So several rounds of rain for the middle part of the week going into Thursday as well. And more than likely some heavy duty storms on Friday. But then by next weekend, hey, we got north winds, lower dew points. It's going to feel pretty good if that forecast works out. As for rainfall totals, we're going to get a soaking next week, at least 2 to 4 inches of rain. And this is over the next week. And when you have these numbers, you can probably double that, and you can get these numbers in just one day. So there are going to be some spots that catch 5 to 6 or 7 inches of rain next week. Mid to upper 70s overnight tonight. Tomorrow should be hotter. Temperatures getting into the upper 80s. That heat index feels like pushing the mid to upper 90s. So feeling a little bit more summer-like tomorrow versus today for some spots. 75 is the low we'll go with. Showers ending during the evening hours. Can't rule out 1 or 2 more cells through the next several hours, but after 9 or 10 o'clock, it should be quiet. Then for tomorrow, partly cloudy, warm and humid. Upper 80s your high. We'll go with rain chance at about 20%. 30% for Memorial Day, not backing down on that. And 60% or better Tuesday through Friday. And then with any luck, next weekend could be absolutely perfect. That's it for weather for now. We'll have more coming up in just a little bit.